in the last class that we have discussed about workplace diversity and decision making, workplace diversity refers to the level of diversity that is there in the employee, irrespective of caste, creed, community, age, religion, and nationality. And managing diversity is very important in the organization because diversity brings creativity, improved performance, new ideas, and all. But yet, diversity management is very difficult in organization because of some sort of biases. So this is diversity in workplace. So diversity means similarity or difference among employees that exist in the employee base because of age, culture, physical abilities, race, religion, gender, and sexual orientations. So open communication, psychological equality given to employees, encouraging diversified team, non-judgmental ear, accepting that everyone is different and there is some differences in each and everyone, diversity training programs, diversified mentor relationship. These are the techniques where diversity can be managed in the organization. What is challenges to diversity is stereotype and prejudice people carry for each other, trust issues, cultural conflicts, communication. If the communication is not clear, if employee resistance is there because of some cultural biases or religion biases that they carry with themselves, or if racism behavior is there within employee, then diversity would be very difficult. Managing diversity in the organization would be very difficult. Then what exactly benefits of diversity is creativity, increased productivity. It usually create a diverse learning scope, less biasness because there are a lot of people with a lot of opinion. So biasness would not be many, like considering the differences. Then higher employee engagement, integrated organizational culture, then better decision making. Yeah. Then managerial decision. We have discussed like what is managerial decision making. In general, decision making is deriving an conclusion or deriving a concluding statement about a situation based on the past experience or experience of present experience or your heuristic experience that you have about the event in your life. But when it comes to managerial decision process, so managerial decision making means like which products should be launched, what should be charged, what are the quantity of the product. So everything, taking a decision about an activity which is in the organizational context is managerial decision making process. That involves 5 steps: establishing the objective, then defining the problem, identifying the possible alternatives, then evaluating alternative courses of action, then implementing the decision. This is basically a process. Then we learn about what are the managerial decision barriers, conflict between people, personal biases that we carry for each other, time constraint, and then we don't want to commit because we want to play for the blame game. Then techniques to improve decision making, we learn that how we could learn from our experience, how we can entertain the doubt by asking questions, by confirming whether someone is saying what I'm getting, the people before me saying the same, or I'm just going by my experiences, breaking the self theory, preparing for the worst. These are some of the techniques that is improve your decision making. Then at the last verse, we have some work motivation. As said yesterday, most of the HR when asked, what is the most difficult task that you feel is involved in your role, they usually say engaging employees and motivating employees. Yeah. So work motivation is very difficult task that usually these days organization is facing. Motivating employees is a delicate, purposeful challenge that requires more than an annual review fee notes in someone's personal life. It's very difficult actually, because people usually carry emotions, their behavior, their assumptions, their perceptions towards life. Managing those assumptions, emotions in a positive manner, for a common goal, in a pre-directive way is very difficult. That's what work motivation is. Because uh, organization do have a particular goal, and for that goal, they have a certain set of responsibility to perform. And even to perform the responsibility, there are rules and regulation. And by following this rules and regulation, you are performing a task for a higher goal. So people having their own emotions and their thought, managing their thoughts, their emotions, and then navigating them in a predetermined road is really a very difficult task, which is not credited these days in the organization. That's the reason most of the HR are saying that work motivation is one of the most challenging thing that they are encountering these days. So how it could be done, like what could be the steps so that the employee could be, better motivated, just like getting in safe or learning a new language. Bolstering your employees' motivation is also a difficult task, and performance levels won't happen overnight. It won't happen overnight. Believe me, if I feel demotivated for my roles and responsibility, you cannot motivate me in one go or in a overnight, or you just the HR just called me and motivated me with few of motivation words or videos or something talks or promises. I cannot be motivated because the HR needs to understand what my needs are, why I'm feeling demotivated, and by understanding that, motivation can be created. So what are the steps that can be followed to motivate the employee? That are making expectations clear. What is expected from you as an employee? It should be very clear. Your roles, responsibility, your performance task, your standard rules, and what your manager is expecting for you how to do. Everything should be very clear. It should not be vague. Like today you are asked to do certain task, and then tomorrow you are asking, no, 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 you know to do this because this is not your responsibility. And again, a 4 or 5 task is given to you, and you are asking to do that task. So it is not clear to you whether you are expected to do this task or that task. In that way, your role and responsibility is not clear, and you will be feeling demotivated for your job. So expectations should be clear. Provide continuous feedback. So if you are able to achieve the goal that is given to you or not, that continuous feedback should be given to you, so that you will be clear that, okay, I have assigned this much of task and I couldn't do this much of task, and I am able to do this task, and these things I have to improve. So let me improve. Correct privately and praise publicly. Most of the time, if you will see that in the organization, if something happens, people started using frowns in their face. But when it's time to praise you, they didn't do it publicly. When you feel humiliated before people, you will be demotivated for your job. So it's a better policy for the organization that correct it privately. If you feel that an employee is not doing correctly or not meeting the expectation of the organization, then ask him to come in a one-on-one session and to discuss what exactly is being done to you and why you are not performing. What are the things that is creating barriers for your performances? So this is the wrong thing that you have done. This could impact your appraisal. Whatever may be the negative comment you want to do, give it privately, but praise it publicly. If someone has done something very good or exceptional and you feel that it should be praised worthy, then praise it publicly. This motivates them, because positive reinforcement obviously always work for human being. Yeah. Then believe in employees. Sometimes employee did wrong. We all are human, and error is very inevitable for human. So you cannot expect everyone to be perfect, to be correct. So believe in your employees. If sometimes they didn't do or they did something wrong, then believe in them. Even if you find that it is not good enough, if you want to discuss in such a way that the people will realize that what he or she has done. Yeah. Then make rewards achievable. Don't say that if you will do 10 tasks in 2 hours, then you will be rewarded. That is not feasible. So set feasible goals, and so that rewards could be achievable, because everyone wants reward. The main motive of working in an organization is money, and money can only be attained in an organization when you are recognized, and your responsibility will give you recognition, and this recognition is indirectly proportional to your pay hikes. So everyone wants that. Make it achievable in that case. Let people know what they are fighting for. So let's say if you are in a trouble, you cannot do it certain task. Let other people know about it. Because when you are not showing up what exactly the problem that you are facing in an organization in your present role, then you cannot do that role effectively. If you are having some problems and if you are not showing it that it's my problem that I could not do anything because this is the problem, no one can understand. But believe me, but every time if you are trying to show this is the problem, then you are a crying child, no one will listen to you. So try to understand really it's a problem which is not visible, which is not possible to do, then like try to present it in a very professional manner. See, I did this. In spite of doing this, I couldn't make it out. I may be in need of this uh, thing so that I can perform my duty. There are people in organization who are continuously crying. I couldn't do this because that internet was working. I couldn't do this because that person was doing this for me. Because I couldn't do this because that person didn't provide me the file. So if you will cry every time, no one going to listen. So quantify it, whether it is really a problem or it's a problem in your head. As I said, it is not a job of one night, so it takes time and practice it for some time so that you will get to know. And if these things are very clear, then you will be feeling motivated for your work. Yeah. Next is I was about to tell you guys theories of motivation. How theories of motivation works. So what is motivation? Motivation is a feeling or is an intention which was usually try to infuse within someone to perform certain set of tasks despite of all challenges and concerns. Yeah. So process theory of motivation try to explain why behaviors are initiated. These theories focus on mechanism by which we choose a target and the efforts that we exert to hit the target. So what exactly the process theory of motivation say? How motivation works? Like why certain behaviors are initiated. Certain set of behaviors are initiated or the mechanism of that behaviors are initiated by choosing a target, putting effort to hit it. And if someone is putting that effort, then why the effort is being put? Because they try to achieve a target. So this theory of motivation says targets can be achieved by putting efforts, by willful efforts. Yeah. Then second is operate condition. Operate conditioning theory is simplest of the motivation theories. It basically states that people will do those things for which they are rewarded and will avoid doing things for which they are punished. The basic thing, let me tell you, in the school, yeah, when there is a debate competition or there is a song competition or there is any essay competition, and if you know that you are good at that, you are try to attend that. Why? Because you know when you will do this or if you will win, you will be awarded. Yeah? But any such task which is subjected to punishable, you're not going to do that because no one wants to be punished. If your teachers say, if you don't do this homework, you will be getting punished, you are not going to do that. You are just try to complete it in any way, because no one wants to complete it. So motivation works in this way. If any positive reinforcement is there to complete a task, then you will be motivated to complete it. If negative reinforcement is there to complete a task, then there is a high chance you will be deprived yourself from that task. Yeah. Then equity theory. So equity theory is, let's say you're working for an organization for like 5 to 6 years, and someone get hired on the same responsibility because your organization is getting expansion, and the person who is giving the same efforts as you do but making more benefits than you, then there will be a chance you will be demotivated because you're working for the organization and giving the same efforts that your colleague or the new hiree is giving, but he's making more money than you, then you will be demotivated. Yes. Expectancy theory posits that we will exert much effort to perform at higher levels so that we can obtain valued outcomes. It is motivation theory that many organization behavior researchers find most intriguing, and it's no small because it's currently also the most comprehensive theory. Yeah. So what exactly expectancy theory is? You will exert much effort to perform a higher level so that you can obtain valued outcomes. Most of the time, when you know what could be the possible outcome of your job or possible outcome of your job, you usually put more efforts in an expectation that you will be getting a valued outcome. So if you are able to do that, then there will be high motivation. So there is a direct correlation between your expectation and your motivation. This theory tries to say that there is a direct correlation between your expectation and motivation. Performance appraisal is a system where we used to, is a tool basically, where the performance of an employee is measured. So let's say, so performance management is a corporate tool to help the manager to monitor and evaluate employees' performance and to understand how employees can best be utilized. Then performance appraisal is basically a continuous process where measuring employees' performance in the organization is being done. So appraisal performance management is a tool in the hand of corporate to monitor and evaluate employees' performance. An appraisal system is a continuous process of evaluating or measuring employees' performance in organization. It means to identify how much its employee contribute towards its goal. Performance appraisal is basically a term which is alternatively used for employee appraisal, annual review, and performance review. It can be an effective tool to understand who is performing to what extent, whether the employee is performing to the standard that is fixed for him at the like at the beginning of the financial year, or he or she is not able to perform, or they are performing but at an average role. So all these things can be understood or can be evaluated through performance appraisal. So this appraisal usually helps the manager in assessing the actual worth of an employee, which helps in deciding their pay and bonuses. Okay, now let me tell you, most of the time we think that performance appraisal is only for it also involves your behavioral and managerial technical concept, as I said, like how you are managing stressful situation, how your behavior with your colleagues, how you behave with your manager, whether you are always an angry child or whether you are a crying child or you are just a mature child who is doing everything in a very perfect manner and know what are the boundaries. So this all involves in performance appraisal. So let's say one more thing I would say that if a new joinee is hired and he's doing his task so okay type, average type, and you want to understand the person I hired is worth enough for the roles and responsibility or not, because sometimes we used to hire people based on their qualities, based on their based on their past experiences, qualification, but ended up with having such employees with us who are not that good at performing their task. Although their resume was very rich, but while performing the task, they are very poor. So appraisal also gives that idea how to understand the worth of the employee also. Yeah. So basically, appraisal system, remember it, performance management is a tool, and performance appraisal is a method of, is a process of analyzing, evaluating the employee performance based on their technical and behavioral knowledge. Yeah, for final compensation, promotion, or progression. Can you an objective of performance appraisal? First is provide performance feedback. So as it's a continuous process these days, this appraisal system is a continuous process instead of annual process. Every quarterly, organizations are giving appraisal reviews or appraisal system or appraisal points to the employee, and based on their quarterly performance, annual review is being done. So basically, it provides performance feedback. It also helpful in deciding the employee compensation. So when it comes to compensation and employee performance, there are two things involved. First is promotion, second one is progression. So promotion is when you have a good rating this year and you will be getting promoted to a new designation with an increase of pay scale, then that is a promotion. When we are talking about progression, progression is something where you will be getting a pay hike with extra bit of increase in your responsibility, but your designation will not be changed. So this performance appraisal system will help you to understand the employee compensation decisions. Then it will be validation of the selection process, whether the right kind of people are there in the right place, or they need certain training to improve, or they should be retrenched, or they should be fired. All this information you will get from performance appraisal based on the rating the employee is getting. Because every employee, when they are started working in an organization, on every starting of the financial year, the set of goals will be assigned to the every individual who is working in an organization as employee. So if an employee is able to meet the expectation, what are the responsibilities given to him, he is just performing it but not thinking about outside that, then he is meeting the expectation. So accordingly, his promotion would be there or training needs should be identified. But if a person is there who is performing very good and out of the box and thinking very creative, very thoughtful, very logical, and thinking out of the box to perform the task, then he will be getting an expectation or rating of excellent. So in that, the HR will get to know whether the right kind of people are there in the right place or not. And accordingly, the training needs are identified. Facilitates communication. What sort of communication? What are your roles? What are the responsibility you need to do and how to do? Everything is confined before in appraisal system from the beginning of the year. So helps in promotion and demotion. So see, promotion is very much there in corporate or in a private organization. Demotion is not there. Demotion is which is very much confined to public organizations or public undertaking organization, and demotion is a sort of punishment for employees who did some wrongful act in public organizations. Yeah, improves employee-employee relationship, because what employer have promised to do as for the employee in terms of performing the task. Then we also known as employee-employee relation would be good, because whatever promised by the employer is delivered for the employee. So in that case, your expectations are met and you will be happy and having a good equation with them. So health in promotion and demotion improves employee-employee relation, setting performance standards. What you are going to perform for the rest of the year is very different, and is what exactly the same, or you are going to do the same that you have done in the last year. So all these performance standards are set up. Then identifying barriers of the performance. If someone is not performing good, what are the reasons for that? Then if your performance appraisal system is that good, then employee retention would be very high and job satisfaction would be very high. Then importance of performance management. It helps in optimal uses of employee abilities, because when the task is confined, the task is given to you at the beginning of the year, then and you will be aware that if you will perform it to a very good extent, then you are going to get an appraisal, then you may be using all your abilities. In that case, you are getting a good appraisal system, and company will get financial benefits, because ultimately the company goals and objectives are given to you in terms of your responsibilities. The catalyst in improving employee engagement and productivity enables proper document and record keeping. Let's say why proper documentation and record keeping is important in appraisal system. let's say you are a new hire to an organization who is not eligible for employee performance appraisal system this year. How would you justify the appraisal system for next year if you don't have anything about his performance for this year? So keeping a record of their performance is important. So this is the importance of performance management. Performance management has to keep records. Thus, it creates platform to generate new ideas, because performance management involves one-on-one discussion with manager and employee before the appraisal went to the HR department. So there, the manager will discuss with you what are the functions that you have done, what you couldn't do, what are the rooms of improvement, what are the strength, what are the weakness. You also discuss with the manager what are the problems that you used to face and what could be the possible manner to solve the problems and all. Sometimes organization couldn't see problems in their process, but those who are performing in the process usually able to find it out the problem. So in that way, it usually creates a sense of a platform to generate new ideas.